Well, after being closed for about 6 months and recently opened for exit classes, it is back to school for other primary and secondary school students. Pre-primary classes in schools in both public and private schools will remain closed until further notice. State governments have urged that guidelines for the resumption of public and private schools and recommendations for safety precautions be adhered to. The phased opening of schools includes strategies for staggered resumption in the mornings, classes on alternate days during the week, and teaching through various distance learning methods. This is to curtail the further spread of COVID-19 cases in Nigeria. Well, following the pandemic, many businesses shut down, event planning being one of them. Well, joining me now to give us an idea of how the business owners fared and the steps towards recovery following the gradual easing of restrictions on businesses is the PR Director Association of Event Planners, Bose Abisogboola. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you join us. Of course, tell us about what your ordeal has been like as an event planner and what you had to go through during the lockdown period. Like, what was the loss like for you?
Well, it's a huge loss. It's a huge, huge loss. I mean, we've been hit so badly. And it's been 6 months of lockdown, no business. And a lot of us, you know, as entrepreneurs have loans that we're servicing. We have different, you know, financial obligations that we have to our staff, to our team, to, you know, building, you know, the brand. And then without events and not having to do that for the past 6 months has been a whole lot of losses. I mean, they've been huge of losses. And then we have families who both members of those families who take care of the family are in this sector, who their means of livelihood has actually been absolutely interrupted, and you know, paying bills and all of that has been very difficult. You know, palliatives, we even within ourselves have to start raising, you know, funds for some, you know, particularly, you know, embarrassing situations that, you know, some of us would have found ourselves. So it's been really, really, really tough. It's been really, really tough, and that's why we're clamoring for a reopening. And you know, if you have, you know, and we just heard we're following up with what the Lagos State Governor is saying and what the Lagos State of Tourism and Culture are saying. And one of the things that we found out that, you know, they're allowing the spas and the schools to open, the mosques and churches, cinemas are now open at some capacity. We are ready to reopen because the event industry has suffered a whole lot, and they are still, you know, suffering, and you know, we cannot overemphasize the need for the government to come to our aid, hear us right now, because we are breaking down with a lot of financial burdens and everybody with different, you know, issues, and that we're trying to pull through. You know, a few of us have diversified, but you know, at what capacity can that take care of our staffs and our team, and you know, the other loans that we're servicing and the things that we're doing? So we want the government to reopen the event industry. We are ready, and we're ready to put in place the necessary measures because we are ready to follow the guidelines that the government will put in place. In fact, most of our members, you know, have already started preparing themselves by learning and relearning the new normal on how to, you know, keep our clients, our events, you know, more safe. And you know, the heartbreaking matter is that we find that there are other illegal events going on in different places. I call it illegal because it's not following the guidelines that the state government has put in place, and it's not what we want to do. We want to have legal events. We want to be able to bring in our professional intelligence and expertise to protect the people from this pandemic. We have trained ourselves and we learned on how to, you know, manage and observe all the safety measures during this COVID era, and there's nothing more that we can say that we are ready. We're ready to be reopened, and we want the government to look towards us. We want the federal government to hear us. We want the local government, you know, everyone in the parastatals, the governor, to know that we are responsible and we are ready. We're ready to work. We're ready to reopen the event industry, please.
But if you look at how, you know, event planning seems to be taking the new dimension, which is now that during the lockdown, we saw a lot of persons that wanted to celebrate themselves, celebrate parties, you know, do it virtually. You know, do you see, you know, the business event planning towing that lane now, since there's a restriction on the number of persons that can be gathered in a particular place? Do you see that actually coming to stay even after the pandemic?
Well, not to the full capacity. Now, one of the things that drive the Nigerian event industry is that our people are people who like to celebrate life, and we celebrate it in a grandeur way. And so having it on doing the hybrid events or doing the virtual events would not really tell, you know, the way they want to express their events. So it's not just holding us down as event people, it's holding our clients, you know, our people down from having to celebrate milestone events and, you know, other memorable events. They want to have it the way the culture, you know, affords them to do so. So with the hybrid events or with the Zoom parties and all of that, yes, some people might like it, but I don't see it, you know, being able to sustain, you know, what we already built, you know, and then it wouldn't serve as the kind of culture, you know, Nigerians do have. And we take that, I say that, you know, on behalf of everyone and my colleagues and, you know, and the association of APPOEMN. I say that because I have a clear understanding and insight of the kind of preparation and the kind of relearning and the kind of, you know, education we are putting in place to be able to get, you know, life back, you know,
people
with
to celebrate themselves,
celebrate themselves
with their friends
with
and
themselves.
their family.
And we're ready to go with the guidelines of the ease of the lockdown. But the capacity of 50 people has constrained us. We can't have the normal events, but people are having events in their homes, in different places, and they are having it the way they want to. We don't want that to happen. We want to curtail the, you know, the spread of this, and we want to do it legally, and want to do it with the backing of the government, with the guidelines.
PR Director, Association of Event Planners, Bose Abisogboola, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you so much.